I'm going to be talking to Denis Painchaud, who is the president of the Canadian National Committee of the World Petroleum Council, because they're going to be hosting the World Petroleum Congress in Calgary from September 17th to the 21st, 2023. So welcome to the interview, Denis.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, you're announcing the theme of the Congress today. So what kind of a theme will it be?
Yeah, it's an interesting, I wouldn't say departure, more of an evolution from the historical themes of the World Petroleum Congresses, which is traditionally focused on best practices in the industry. Our theme, which will be announced shortly, is energy transition, the path to net zero.
Well, now that's fascinating because you probably know that the Energy Media's mission includes reporting on the energy transition. We do a lot of that. And the petroleum industry in particular is on the hot seat to reduce emissions. So what would be the take, I guess? Expand on that, how you have a petroleum Congress and an energy with a theme of an energy transition. What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a new direction for sure. This is a step change for the World Petroleum Council, which is undergoing its own internal review about where does the council go in the future. And I would say that the support for the theme that we promoted to the International Secretariat of the World Petroleum Council suggests that that organization is ready to move in a new direction. These congresses that we've had in the past that have been focused on best practices about, where do you find oil and gas? How do you extract it in the most efficient manner? How do you transport it to market? How do you sell it? What are end consumers looking for? Those are all very important considerations and topics, and they're still relevant today, and they'll still form a part of the programming at the Congress in Calgary. However, we all know that we're in a new world. It's evident to everybody, including the energy sector, that we need to move forward with reducing emissions. As it was put to me, hydrocarbons in themselves are not a bad thing. They have provided a very cheap supply of energy for the world to use to progress for decades. So it's not the hydrocarbons themselves that are the problem, it's the emissions from the hydrocarbons that are creating this climate concerns that we all are sharing, have recognized, and we all share. So this theme will talk about how do we address that particular issue, how do we find a path forward and get to a place that we all need to get to.
Well, that's very interesting, and I look forward to reporting on the Congress when it occurs. So you've got the climate end of it, that's going to be addressed. Will the Congress address the energy transition issue, which is the rise of electric transportation, electric vehicles, buses, and so on? And the International Energy Agency says that peak oil demand is coming late 2020s, early 2030s at the latest. So will you be addressing that issue as well, declining consumption?
Absolutely. One of the important aspects of the World Petroleum Congresses is that while there's a technical component, the focus tends to be on larger societal issues and where the energy sector fits within those challenges. And as the title of the theme is energy transition, the path to net zero, that transition will be front and center in the programming that will be associated and part of the Congress in 2023. People have a right to express their opinions about the energy sector and the energy sector's contributions to global warming and climate change. And in a way, I think whether their opinions are always right or always wrong or somewhere in between, what they've done is they've resonated with people around the world, including people that work within the energy sector, that we need to start addressing carbon emissions. And so what this Congress is about is let's recognize that as a fact, and then let's create a thoughtful path forward, because there is no magic fuel out there. There's no magic switch that we can just turn on that is going to allow us to move to a net zero future in months. So we need to have a well thought out plan that doesn't create chaos in the energy supply to economies around the world.
Well, Denny, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, energy media has been calling on the industry to do this for years, and so very pleased that that's happened. And I really like the idea of a well thought out plan. Does that mean the Canadian industry is buying into the creation of some strategy that, to deal with declining demand and to deal with decarbonization? Because it's kind of hasn't up until now. There's not been much. What's your take on that?
Yeah, great question. And I can say with absolute certainty that the Canadian energy sector, for the most part, has bought in on the need for energy transition and is prepared to play their part in making that happen. We're all aware of the recent announcement by the Pathways Group, CNRL, Suncor, Cenovus, Imperial, and Meg Energy, our largest producers in Canada, to move to a net zero future for their own organizations. We took the time in developing this theme to speak with many national associations of the World Petroleum Council, to our international energy organizations, to our domestic Canadian companies, and to thought leaders around society about where the theme should go. And I can tell you that all of our Canadian companies that we talked to were very supportive and encouraging around a theme that looks to energy transition and the path to net zero.
Well, that's heartening. Good for you guys, and I'll look forward to hearing what the Congress has to say. Denny, thank you very much. Good luck with your event, and appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much again for your interest and for taking the time to speak with me today.